G'day everyone! Today, we're diving into the world of one of the planet's most bizarre and wonderful creatures, the platypus. When the first specimen of this animal arrived in Britain from Australia, scientists thought it was a prank. They believed someone had stitched a duck's bill onto the body of a beaver. But this incredible animal is very real, and it's a true marvel of evolution. The platypus is a mammal, just like us, but it belongs to a very special and ancient group called monotremes. This is a tiny club with only the platypus and 4 species of echidna as its members. It's a living link to a very distant past, an animal that breaks all the rules we thought we knew about mammals. What makes a monotreme so unique? Well, unlike almost all other mammals that give birth to live young, monotremes lay eggs. That's right, a mammal that lays eggs. This trait is more commonly associated with birds and reptiles, which is why the platypus is often seen as a fascinating evolutionary puzzle. After a gestation period of about 4 weeks inside the mother, she will retreat to a special nesting burrow. There, she lays 1 to 3 small, leathery eggs. She then curls around them to keep them warm, incubating them for about 10 days until they hatch. This mix of mammalian and reptilian characteristics is what makes the platypus a true standout in the animal kingdom. Platypuses are semi-aquatic, meaning they live both on land and in water. They are native exclusively to the freshwater rivers and streams of eastern Australia and Tasmania. These shy creatures are most active during the twilight hours of dawn and dusk, which makes them quite difficult to spot in the wild. They dig extensive burrows into the riverbanks for shelter and for raising their young. A platypus might have a resting burrow and a separate, more complex nesting burrow. These tunnels can be quite long, sometimes stretching up to 5 meters, with an entrance that is often hidden just below the water's surface, providing a secret and safe entryway. When a baby platypus, charmingly called a puggle, hatches, it is tiny, blind, and hairless. It is completely dependent on its mother for survival. Another unique feature of monotremes is how they feed their young. The mother platypus does not have teats like other mammals. Instead, she secretes milk through special pores in her skin, located in grooves on her abdomen. The puggles lap up this milk as it pools on her fur. They will stay safe in the burrow, nursing for about 3 to 4 months before they are strong and big enough to venture out into the water and learn to find food for themselves. This unique method of nursing is another incredible adaptation of this one-of-a-kind mammal. Let's take a closer look at the platypus's body, which is like a Swiss Army knife of adaptations. It's perfectly equipped for its life in and out of the water. First, there's that famous duck-like bill. It looks rubbery and soft, and it's not hard like a bird's beak at all. This bill is actually a highly sensitive sensory organ, covered in thousands of special receptors that we'll talk more about later. Its nostrils are located on the top of the bill, allowing it to breathe at the surface with just a small part of its body exposed, much like a crocodile. This design is perfect for an animal that spends so much of its time foraging in the water while staying alert to potential dangers. Moving down its sleek, waterproof body, you'll find its powerful, webbed feet. The front feet are especially interesting. They have large webbing that extends well beyond the claws, turning them into highly efficient paddles for swimming. When the platypus is on land or needs to dig its burrow, this webbing can be retracted, exposing strong claws perfect for moving earth. Its hind feet are also webbed, but are used more for steering in the water, like rudders on a boat. And here's a surprising fact: male platypuses have a sharp, venomous spur on each hind leg. This venom is potent enough to cause severe pain in humans, and is used by males when fighting each other for mates. The platypus's tail is another essential tool. It's broad and flat, much like a beaver's tail, and it serves several important functions. In the water, it helps with steering and propulsion, working in tandem with its powerful feet. On land, it can be used for support, but one of its most clever uses is for storage. The platypus stores fat in its tail, which acts as an energy reserve to help it survive during tough times when food might be scarce. This is especially important for females during the breeding season, when they spend long periods incubating eggs and caring for their young inside the burrow, unable to forage for food as frequently. The overall body shape of the platypus is also perfectly designed for its aquatic lifestyle. It has a streamlined, torpedo-like form that allows it to glide through the water with minimal resistance. Its fur is incredibly dense and waterproof, consisting of 2 layers. The undercoat is thick and woolly, trapping a layer of air that provides insulation and keeps the animal warm in cold water. The outer layer consists of longer, flat guard hairs that keep it dry. This incredible double-layered coat is so effective that a platypus can spend hours hunting in chilly streams without losing precious body heat, a crucial adaptation for its survival. The way a platypus hunts is perhaps its most extraordinary feature. When it dives underwater to search for food, it does something amazing. It closes its eyes, ears, and nose completely. So, how does it find its prey in the dark, murky riverbed? The answer lies in its incredible bill. That soft, rubbery bill is covered in about 40,000 electroreceptors and 60,000 mechanoreceptors. This gives the platypus a kind of sixth sense called echolocation. It is one of the very few mammals in the world that can use this ability. These receptors allow it to detect the tiny electrical fields generated by the muscle contractions of its prey. As the platypus swims along the bottom of the river, it sweeps its head from side to side. This scanning motion allows its bill to act like a living metal detector, picking up the faint electrical signals from small invertebrates like insect larvae, freshwater shrimp, and crayfish hidden in the mud and under rocks. The mechanoreceptors also help by detecting changes in water pressure, alerting the platypus to any movement nearby. This remarkable dual sensory system is so precise that a platypus can pinpoint the exact location of its next meal without ever seeing it. It's an incredible example of how evolution has equipped an animal to thrive in a very specific environment. A typical dive for a platypus only lasts for about 30 to 60 seconds. After each dive, it returns to the surface for about 10 to 20 seconds to breathe before going down again for another search. It doesn't eat its food underwater. Instead, it scoops up its prey along with some grit and gravel from the riverbed and stores it all in its cheek pouches. Once its pouches are full, it returns to the surface or to the safety of its burrow. There, it uses the gravel it collected to mash up its food, because adult platypuses have no teeth. They have grinding plates in their mouths, and the grit helps them break down the hard exoskeletons of their prey. This entire hunting process is incredibly energy-intensive. A platypus must spend many hours every night, sometimes up to 12 hours, foraging to get enough food to meet its metabolic needs. Its diet consists mainly of benthic invertebrates, the little critters that live on the river bottom. Another strange fact about the platypus is that it doesn't have a stomach. Food passes directly from its esophagus into its intestine. Scientists have discovered that the genes responsible for creating a stomach have been lost over the course of its evolution. This means digestion begins immediately in the intestine. Another quirk that adds to the platypus's unique biology. The platypus is a resilient creature that has been around for millions of years, but today it faces a growing number of threats to its survival. In the wild, a platypus can live for up to 11 years, while in the protective environment of captivity, some have lived as long as 17 years. However, their populations in their native Australian waterways are declining. As a result, their conservation status has been listed as near threatened. This means that while they are not yet endangered, their numbers are dropping at a concerning rate, and without intervention, they could face a more serious risk of extinction in the near future. The future of this ancient lineage is more fragile than ever before. The biggest threat to the platypus is habitat degradation and water pollution. These animals are incredibly sensitive to the health of their freshwater ecosystems. Pollution from agriculture and urban runoff can contaminate the rivers they call home, killing off the invertebrates they rely on for food. The construction of dams and weirs alters water flow, which can destroy their burrows and fragment their habitats, isolating populations from one another. This makes it difficult for them to find mates and reduces genetic diversity, making the species as a whole less resilient to disease and environmental changes. Their survival is directly linked to the cleanliness and health of Australia's rivers. Another significant danger comes from human activities. Improperly set fishing traps and nets can accidentally drown platypuses. Although they can hold their breath for a minute or two, they can easily get tangled and become unable to surface for air. Land clearing along riverbanks for farming or development removes the vegetation that helps stabilize the banks, leading to erosion that can cause their burrows to collapse. Prolonged droughts and extreme weather events, which are becoming more common due to climate change, also put immense pressure on platypus populations by drying up the rivers and streams they depend on for their very existence. Fortunately, there is growing awareness of the platypus's plight, and conservation efforts are underway to protect this unique Australian icon. Researchers are actively monitoring populations to better understand their numbers and the specific threats they face in different regions. Conservation groups and government agencies are working to restore riverbank habitats, improve water quality, and create platypus-safe fishing gear. By protecting their freshwater homes and reducing the dangers they face, we can help ensure that this extraordinary egg-laying mammal continues to swim through Australia's waterways for generations to come. The platypus is a true natural treasure, and it's our responsibility to keep it safe.